it'll help you pay attention, be willing to bid on 100 houses. What happens is, 5 minutes before the auction, you'll see all of them are past your number except one. Hey, that's the one you're going to buy today, right? So
the chances are good that I'll get the property if I was bidding against the house.
Oh yeah, almost 100%.
Because I'm going to stop, you guys are going to keep going, and then you'll come back to me.
Yeah. If you win it, you probably got it. Like 80-90% chance. Auction.com has come a long way in understanding how to judge the market, and that's one of the things that they didn't used to do. I was buying Auction.com 3-4 years ago when they were live, they were called REDC, they weren't even called Auction. And that, they wouldn't tell you. I'm sorry, we can't disclose what the bank wants for this property. Screw you. You know, like, tell me what they want. I'll decide if I want to bid on it. It's not really an auction. It's like, do you want the house or not?
What's happening with the house? So every time you finish the bid, the higher bid, and every time it comes back and back about 2, 3, 4, 5 months. Every time the same property coming back.
Auction.com?
No, Hubzu.com.
Hubzu. What are you doing over there?
Do you know?
Same thing she just asked. They're not really telling you what the bank wants. So it's a waste of time. Hubzu, a lot of times, it's a big waste of time. I don't actually focus very much on Hubzu, believe it or not.
What do you favorite options?
Put about 20 bid.
You know, let me give you a trick on Hubzu.
Always the highest bid.
Wait for the 5th time. Wait for the 5th time. On Hubzu, wait for the 5th time. Usually on the 5th time, they just let it go. They won't tell you that. I'll never tell you that. But my experience has told me that.
What about getting on Palm Beach County, foreclosure auction that now is online?
Every county is online. 52 counties in Florida. I mean, maybe there's 1 or 2 that's not there.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm the #1 buyer at that county site for the last 2 years running. I'll buy 450 this year on the West Palm Beach courthouse auction. My only real competitors are these big funds that are buying the rent. What would you like to know?
Well, you already told me that you're a huge competitor. What about the banks? They post what they're going to bid.
Sometimes.
But then they change it. I've seen them change it.
That's a trick.
That's a bad thing.
I've made so much money off of that little trick.
Yeah.
Because you wait for the times when they post a really high reserve, and then at the last minute they post low, nobody's ready, nobody's watching.
Exactly.
There's a little thing on Palm Beach County where you star your favorites, and then you display your favorites on the day of, so you don't have to look at all this other crap. Most people aren't even looking at it because it's not one of their favorites because they counted it out because the reserve was high. I recheck the auction. That's one trick I have at Palm Beach County. 30 minutes before it's over, 10 minutes before it's over, 20 minutes later, I just walk them all the way. Sometimes the bank will put 10% of the time, the bank will lower the reserve to a ridiculous number and it's like, holy crap.
And why do they do this?
Okay, so I'll explain it to you. I actually buy notes too. I buy mortgages and then foreclose. Very often there's a disconnect between the lender and the lawyer and the plaintiff's rep. I mean, that's a 3-step process. And sometimes it's the plaintiff's rep calling my cell phone saying, oh, we forgot to tell you, the auction's today. What do you want reserve to be? And until they can get a hold of that lender, they're just going to post max reserve because they don't want to screw up. They don't want to underprice it and then get sued. So until that very moment, until the bank calls and says, hey, we're into it for 18, do 36. Until that moment, they have to post max reserve. So sometimes they get that information at the last set, and then they lower it.
I have another question. If you're going to bid, just like you said, bid a dozen or 3 dozen or 100 houses, are you putting the deposit for each as you're required?
Which source? Which auction?
The Palm Beach County.
So auction source, you put in your Palm Beach County auction and any county auction, any courthouse auction, tax auction, you put in a set amount of money ahead of time as your escrow.
Yeah.
So I put in 20 grand, right? That gives me
For
400.
each house?
No. It gives me 400,000 in bidding power, period.
Okay.
So I can place $400,000 bids on every single house that day until I win one for 400,000. Then I can't bid anymore.
Okay, thank you.
What is the best way to go about like the title search, like for beginners, in replacing?
This is part of the reason Auction.com is hiring me, is because they're rolling out. By the way, I don't know if anybody knows, but Auction.com is basically taking over the courthouse auctions. Everything except Palm Beach County. They merged with BREIA auction, which is the auction buying company, the auction posting company that manages every county except Palm Beach County. Lucky for me. What they're doing, which they're not at full capacity yet, but what they're doing is they have relationships with Nation Star, with a lot of banks, and they're getting title done, pictures done, and they're getting the reserves ahead of time from the banks. Auction.com is at the courthouse, and they're providing it to you. They're providing title, they're providing pictures, they're providing Zillow links that give you retail value. Auction.com has a lot of this stuff in house, but if you want to buy at the courthouse and you want to have title checked and make a really good relationship with the title company, there's some here. A lot of title companies I know will give you the title searches for free if you buy enough houses and give them the title work on the back end. That's actually the way I would recommend it.
Yeah, we met one, they offer that.
Yeah, it's a cool program.
So that's the best.
When you're big enough, you get your own title writer in-house and put it in out. But until then, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, but see, okay, let me go into that a little bit further. Just having a title report's not going to do it. I mean, that's what my first value add was, is having the most knowledge. It could say $32,000 HOA lien was reported on 1/12, 1/12/12. Okay? But if you know that the recent law just passed in Tallahassee that says if an HOA forecloses, they're not owed anything other than their judgment amount when they foreclose, right? Minus the rent that they've received since then. Well, then you know you've got some gathering of information to do. Did the HOA foreclose? How much was the judgment at that time? Are they going to play ball or are you going to have to sue them? I mean, even after the fact. So that's just one example of what a title report might not tell you that experience or maybe people in this room that have experience, maybe me, that people will tell you, that maybe somebody will share with you. Having those knowledge wins. I mean, these things that I learned that cost me a lot of money to learn. Make mistake after mistake after mistake and learn the hard way.
So $300,000 lien doesn't necessarily sway you?
Oh no, not at all. If I see a number that high, actually, then I'm actually more at ease because. I mean, likely a $300,000 lien is not going to attach to the property because there's a lot of reasons, but that actually gets me excited.
What are some of the resources that you study to become an expert on auction?
Great question.
Where should we research?
Great question.
When you're writing your book.
Yeah, I really think there's a big demand for that right now, which is kind of the reason I'm up here. I don't like speaking. I really think there's a big demand for that. Auction.com thinks there's a big demand for that. They're moving into the space where you can buy the courthouse. I mean, between what Auction.com has after the courthouse and before the courthouse, you don't really need to go anywhere else. I don't know of any really good education on that exact topic now. You can break that down into different topics, okay? So, how to value a house. I mean, there's books on that. How to judge a renovation budget. You could probably learn that here. How to bid at the numbers. I mean, what are the numbers? How to do a calculation. I mean, those basic things, all these different things go into creating a successful buying auction experience. How to raise the money. That's a whole topic. The only real topic that can't be mass marketed and can't be understood on a large level is the title, because every state is different. Every state has different rules, and there's probably no real good way to create that across the nation, which is why Auction.com is doing what they're doing. But again, she asked that question. Add a relationship with a title company to the mix. With all these other educational tools that are out there that even this source can provide you, I'm sure. And just put them all together. I'll in the future, if auction stays strong as there, I'll probably do some type of an all-in-one package and come back and a book or something, yeah. Because everybody, there's only a few successful guys in this industry, in this auction buying thing, and they like being top. And I tell them, hey, I'm going to go tell everybody how to do this. And they're like, why did you do that? there's so many opportunities that you can't be afraid to tell somebody else how to do it. The more people that do it, the more popular it's going to become, the more people are going to sell their houses at auction. I've sold houses at auction that weren't already successful. If the entire room gets to the point where, if everybody in the industry gets to the point where that's the preferred method of buying, the industry will adapt to that. And everybody will be able to do it. Which isn't that.
Can you expand, you mentioned that auction.com is not going to provide title.
Yeah.
What does that mean exactly when you're buying or when you're making the bid? Should you feel comfortable that you're going to get title, or what does that mean?
Also, okay. There's a few other sources that are doing that as well. AZ Bidder is doing that as well. So auction.com is providing title. You go on, you click a title report.
We can't hear you back there. There's so much noise.
Yeah, close that back door. So all the sound's coming in through the back door. Have Carl come in, and then we'll close the back door. So, no, if I've never done it before, I certainly wouldn't feel comfortable clicking on a title report and understanding what it says, because it's legal jargon. You really should get a title company to come by your side, a lawyer, an experienced auction buyer, an experienced investor who understands how to read a title report, to read it with you. Just go through it 20 or 30 times. Go through 20 or 30 reports. Try to understand every potential nuance that could come up. There's only a few. Is it a first mortgage or a second mortgage? Are there liens that came after the list pendants, before the list pendants? If before the list pendants, were they served? Was everybody served? That's it. I mean, you really can break it down. Understanding title, you can really break it down into like 4 or 5 important factors. Just get a handle on that, do it a few times, and you can feel confident.
So they put a house up on auction.com. You have how many days to do your due diligence?
7. They usually put the house up. I mean, as far as I've seen, I don't look at it until a few days before, but they usually put it up 7 days before. They put it up, and you have 7 days. No, 7 days of bidding, and they advertise it 2 or 3 weeks.
It's up, wait.
It's up for 7 days. After you have the offer accepted, after you're the highest bidder.
Well, that's the one you don't pay attention to, that's all.
What's your inspection period?
Yeah, what do you, like, just.
After you buy?
After she's the highest bidder and there's 1 week.
24 hours.
Yeah, go on there and look. Go on there and look. It'll have 3 sets of auctions for Broward County. It'll have one. This is the auction that's going on from 10:30 and ending on 11/7. And you can pull it up 3 weeks in advance. Take a look at it. Drive to the house, gather information, get ready for it.
You could do your title search at that point.
Yeah. I mean, well, okay. Buying on auction.com, there's two, as far as I know, there's only 2 types. There's clear title, which you don't have to worry about.
Right.
And then there's quick claim deed, which you have to worry about.
How do you know it's a clear title? It says so?
It'll say special warranty deed. If it says special warranty deed, you're getting a title policy.
Do all the sites have that?
Every site other than auction.com provides clear title, except the courthouse.
Right.
Hubzu, Home Search, Genesis, all give you clear title. I mean, you could have just bought that house off the MLS for all they care. I don't know if you guys know, but these servicing companies, Aquin, Nation Star, they own pieces of these auction companies. The house can be perfectly fine and sell on the MLS in a day, but they're going to send it to the auction company because they make money. That's the way of the future. I mean, these REO agents used to list hundreds of houses. Now they're nowhere to be found.
Especially as a new investor, just tell me, what is the due diligence that you specifically, anything out of the ordinary that you would suggest that should be done?
As a new investor?
Could you repeat the question?
Due diligence.
Oh, what due diligence that he would do, especially as a new person in investing, and any specific little thing that, that you would do that probably not aware of?
New investor.
Yes.
New investor, I would want an easy deal, right?
It's an easy deal.
Easy deal, first of all, is vacant.
Okay.
I win a lot of occupied houses because I'm not afraid anymore, because I've experienced every nightmare you can imagine.